What if you died in a world ruled by monsters, powerless and full of regret, only to wake up 1 year before it all began? That's exactly what happens to Fong Yi. He's been given a second chance, but this time, he knows the truth. In exactly 364 days, a phenomenon called aura recovery will trigger worldwide. And when it does, money, education, and social status will mean nothing. The only thing that will matter is raw power. Those who can cultivate spiritual energy will survive. Everyone else will become prey to mutated beasts and monstrous anomalies that will tear civilization apart. But Fong Yi isn't like the others. He's already lived through the nightmare. He's seen nations collapse, watched billions die, and felt the agony of his own death at the claws of creatures humanity couldn't stop. Now, armed with memories of the future and a mysterious system that can transform anomalies into cultivation techniques, he's ready to rewrite his fate. While the world dismisses strange events as fake news, Fong Yi is already preparing for war. And his first move: breaking up with his girlfriend without a single tear, because he knows she's just a stranger from a life that no longer matters. The nightmare is coming. And this time, Fong Yi will be ready. Strange phenomena are erupting across the globe. Fisherman Hall in a giant abalone so massive that 10 people can't surround it, mutated by nuclear wastewater. An ancient tree in a tourist zone spirals out of control, its roots cracking the earth for kilometers as if the planet itself is breathing. Massive vines fall from the sky like something out of a fairy tale. Subway tracks collapse in multiple cities, causing deaths that authorities quickly cover up. Yet the public ignores it all, calling it fake news, just like the old zombie scare hoaxes. Meanwhile, outside a high school, students are gathered, gossiping about the school beauty, Chu Qingli. Everyone assumes she's here to break up with her boyfriend, Fong Yi. After all, she's been accepted into a top university while he hasn't, and their futures now seem impossibly unequal. When she approaches him, her expression is cold and distant. She tells him their relationship is unrealistic and should end, claiming that life together requires courage and compatibility they no longer share. But Fong Yi doesn't beg. He doesn't argue. He simply agrees to break up, leaving her stunned. The crowd expected him to plead for another chance, but instead, he turns and walks away without hesitation. Furious and humiliated, Chu Qingli warns him not to think he can win her back. Fong Yi doesn't even look back. He tells her not to flatter herself by calling herself the school beauty, and the crowd erupts in shock. What no one knows is that Fong Yi has returned from a future disaster. He knows the world's rules of money and education will soon collapse. To him, Chu Qingli is just a stranger from another life. He walks away because something far bigger is coming to this planet, and he needs to prepare. The night before, strange cracks in reality showed him visions of the future. A system interface appeared, revealing that aura recovery will fully activate in 364 days, rewriting society and beginning an age of cultivators where power is the only law. The system, using cosmic algorithms, can create cultivation methods from spiritual materials he touches. But right now, he has none. As he reaches out to the system window, his hand passes through it. Suddenly, a powerful monster appears and roars. Fear freezes him in place. Inside the monster's mouth is a corpse. The system announces that this marks the end of Fong Yi's life as an ordinary person and the fate of billions on this planet. Fear surges through his chest as memories flood back. In his past life, he was an ordinary man who only struggled to survive. His nation fell. People suffered. Mutated beasts killed him, leaving him to die in anger and despair. Now, realizing he's been brought back 1 year before the aura recovery, he makes a vow. He will use every coming anomaly to grow stronger. When he touches the system fragments, they link to him and unlock a new path. Everything in the world can now be used as material. His mission is clear: gather techniques, become a powerful cultivator, and save humanity. Soon, news spreads that the world faces an unprecedented crisis and people must rely on their own strength. The government avoids clear answers, only telling citizens to prepare. It's a calm approach Fong Yi recognizes from his past life, a strategy to prevent mass panic. Then he notices the top trending news. The UV index at Qingqing University has reached a record high, and students are warned to avoid the North Gate. Fong Yi checks the sky near him and finds the UV level is 0, which confuses him. But photos show blazing sunlight over the university. Knowing this is a real anomaly, he heads there immediately. At the north gate, ashes shine as they fall from the sky. Students flee from the deadly heat. Fong Yi stays. He reaches out and touches the falling ash. The system detects strong yang energy and begins forming a data template. The energy rushes into his body, causing intense pain. A bright light bursts from him, burning his clothes and forcing others to shield their eyes. Fong Yi endures the pain until the process ends. The system announces that the compilation is complete. He's gained a yang attribute cultivation method called the Golden Sun Breathing Technique. This marks the true start of his path as a cultivator. On the day new students register at Qingqing University, Chu Qingli arrives. Several boys try to carry her suitcase and get her attention, but she refuses them all and sneers at a nearby couple. Suddenly, a bright golden light flashes. A loudspeaker warns everyone to stay away from the north gate. Her expression grows serious as she heads toward the commotion. At the north gate, golden energy bursts into the air. A dark figure walks out of the smoke, radiating a powerful presence. His eyes shine with gold as he takes a deep breath. A system screen appears, notifying him that he's created a new technique and gained 50 points. He notices it but doesn't yet understand its significance. Night comes with a strange moon, and he practices his new breathing method. The next day, as the sun rises, a new energy spreads through the university. Some students feel the sky turn dark and cool for a moment. Then they rush toward the north gate where a crowd gathers. The dean scolds them for ignoring the warning, and officials push through as the crowd moves aside. A hooded person tells the dean to seal off the north gate completely. At the same time, the system tells Fong Yi he's cleansed a polluted area. He realizes the government already knows about such places and that others like him might exist. When alerts announce the area is now restricted, students see uniformed people and wonder if they're soldiers. From a rooftop, Fong Yi sees the growing attention. His red eyes glow as he decides to leave and jumps down. Below, the hooded figure walks across cracked ground, kneels, and touches the earth to sense leftover energy. They pick up a piece of stone to study it, understanding that one person has caused the change. Officials guide students away while the hooded figure watches from a distance. In the crowd, Chu Qingli is shocked to hear only one person did this. For a brief moment, she wonders if it's him, before quickly rejecting the thought. At home that night, Fong Yi lies on his bed as the sun sets, still feeling hot even after a cold shower. He's worried he won't sleep and that someone might have noticed what he did at the university. He checks his phone and sees a trending article about a cultivation association, something people once mocked as an online joke. He remembers the hooded figures at school and thinks they must belong to it. The article explains cultivation realm details, from ghost acts to the ultimate realm, transcendence. While comments laugh, Fong Yi wonders if it's real. He's never learned any of this in his past life. Sitting up, he decides to practice his new technique again. He closes his eyes and focuses. Golden energy spreads around him, making him sweat. Slowly, he begins to float in his room inside a bright glow. The system guides him to strengthen his body to hold the power of heaven and earth. He shapes the energy into a divine axe, smiling as his eyes shine with power. The system announces he's reached the Doshui realm and gives him 50 more points. Then it explains that points can place compiled power into objects. Curious, Fong Yi looks at his mug and reaches out. The system asks if he wants to spend 1 point to add the yang attribute to it. He realizes this is like enchanting items. He thinks a powered weapon will be vital for the coming dangers, so he picks up a small sword from his shelf to test the power, planning to buy a real weapon later if it works. Suddenly, a strange sound comes from outside in the middle of the night. A dark creature with huge claws and glowing red eyes watches his apartment. It shows sharp teeth in the dark like a giant demonic rabbit, ready to attack. Inside the apartment, Fong Yi doesn't know danger is close. While lying in bed, he feels uncomfortable from his new cultivation. He hears a strange sound like a rat and thinks it's a neighbor's pet because his hearing is now sharper. When he focuses on the sound, he senses something wrong and goes to the door. In the dark hallway, he meets the red-eyed mutated beast. He freezes as memories of his past life rush back. At the same time, drones fly over the city at night, showing others are tracking the danger. On a rooftop, a young woman with a lollipop complains they haven't yet caught the rabbit that ate the night spirit fruit. She orders her team to keep reporting and jumps down to chase it. As she draws closer, she feels the beast's power. Her eyes glow as she prepares to fight, landing hard on rooftops and running down walls. She's under orders to pursue it no matter what, with warnings that the creature might evolve after eating the fruit. Meanwhile, a late-night worker sees something flash past his window and thinks nothing of it as his boss scolds him. The hunter stands like a shadow against the moon high above the city. Back in the apartment, the beast screams and attacks Fong Yi with its claws. He dodges quickly, seeing its moves clearly as his body has changed. He gathers sun energy in his hand, realizing the monster hasn't fully evolved yet but can grow stronger if left alone. Knowing everyone in the building is in danger, he rushes forward. He grabs the beast with glowing energy, bites it without fear, and holds it tight as his golden eyes stay cold and focused. He spins the creature through the air, sees that its tail is a weak point, seizes it with all his strength, and hurls the beast into the window, shattering the glass from the force. With his fist glowing gold, Fong Yi prepares a strong strike and releases a beam of energy that hits the mutated beast in midair, covering it in bright light. The creature grabs the energy with its claws and tries to steal his yang power. Realizing this, Fong Yi pushes back. He knows the sun's power is too strong and that the rabbit-like monster is destroying itself. A golden explosion follows, and the beast cannot endure the energy. In a nearby building, a couple wakes from the noise. The man thinks it's thunder, and when he checks the window, he sees nothing unusual. Fong Yi lands on the floor, surrounded by fading golden light. He thinks the creature is like a starving ghost trying to consume his power. The monster's eye drops to the ground, releasing black smoke. With a serious look, Fong Yi crushes it under his foot, ending the threat. He understands the creature has been desperate for his opposite yang power and that if he were still normal, everyone in the building would have died. He knows he must gain more techniques to face future dangers. At the same time, the mysterious hunter moves through the moonlit sky, running down buildings with great speed. When she reaches the scene, she freezes in shock, realizing someone else has killed her target. Kneeling, she confirms the beast is destroyed and reaches for the remaining night attribute. But the leftover golden energy burns her hand, forcing her back. She recognizes the same power from the university gate. She activates her communicator and reports that a powerful new forerunner with a special ability has eliminated the target. Her base asks if this is the same person who cleared the gate. With no information on him, they decide the association must recruit him. The silver-haired hunter, Su Qingying, agrees. She carefully stores the small flame of energy in a container on her clothes. She's told to drop other tasks and focus on finding the new forerunner. Calmly, she unwraps her lollipop, puts it in her mouth, accepts the mission, says she'll first get some milk tea to relax, and agrees she needs to meet this powerful master. Fong Yi wakes at sunrise, stretches, and begins training because early morning helps his cultivation. He uses his breathing method to draw in golden morning energy. His eyes glow as he enters the ghost axe realm, feeling a new surge of power as he grows stronger again. He focuses to control the energy, clenches his fist, and summons his key axe, which now feels lighter in his hand. Lifting the golden axe high, he releases his strength and breaks into the 2-star ghost axe realm. His eyes burn with golden flames as his body becomes tougher and stronger from using the leftover energy of his last breakthrough. Realizing this fast growth is risky, he decides to improve more slowly from now on and moves to a quiet riverside spot to avoid attention. In the association office, a man senses changes in the sun's energy and suspects the new person again. By the river, Fong Yi confirms through the system that he'll add a special attribute to his weapon. He remembers that a weaker item failed before, but this blade forms a strong bond with his power and the system confirms the encoding is successful. Eager to test it, he swings the weapon, releasing a massive golden beam into the sky. He lands with the sword in flames and nearly starts a fire, showing how dangerous his strength has become. Seeing the thick smoke, he knows he's been noticed and quickly leaves. Su Qingying runs toward the smoke, annoyed that she steps away and misses everything. She stops in shock when she sees the river boiling. Flying over the damaged area, she wonders what the new person has done and imagines being blamed since problems keep appearing after he arrives. A distant golden flash catches her eye. As she senses his power, she's stunned that he's jumped from 1 star to 2 stars and even created a spirit weapon. The association has only 2 spirit weapons like his, and even they don't fully know how to make them. Su Qingying feels doubtful about how Fang Yi gained such power alone, then decides she must be mistaken and begins cleaning up the damage he causes. Far away, Fang Yi thinks about how his sword now carries the Yang attribute and wants to add more traits since the system can encode anything. His phone suddenly buzzes, and he realizes he's forgotten to stay hidden when a stranger invites him to a pioneers group. They explain that official members have to be at least in the Ghost Axe realm and that there's a new pollution zone to clear together. Fang Yi asks for details and receives a file about the Shadow River lava dragon. He learns the area has lava and strong yang energy like his own, so he agrees to join. In the Binmu district, a team waits. One member praises the girl's map for making the trip easy. A blonde girl, Xiaoya, thanks everyone and urges teamwork, hiding her worry that the pioneers are weak. She comes from the Cultivation Association, a government group she joins with family help, and doesn't want to fail. When Fang Yi arrives, someone calls his name. He steps forward with his new sword, introducing himself as the agent senses his warm but strong aura. With the team ready, they move into the cave. Fang Yi takes the lead and asks Xiaoya to handle the light. Others warn him about loose rocks and find it strange that the cave is not yet hot. As they walk, Fang Yi feels the team accept him quickly and believes their trust is real in such dangerous times, until the ground under his feet changes color, showing danger is near. They reach a wide opening and see a river of boiling lava. Before anyone can stop him, Fang Yi rushes forward and pushes his sword into the lava. Xiaoya shouts for him not to be reckless. The team panics when a fiery blast throws them back. Fang Yi's system detects a world anomaly and begins analyzing the situation. When Fang Yi pushes his sword into the lava, the system studies the strange change and unlocks a new power called Inner Flame, which has very high heat and explosive force. It also reveals the Scarlet Flame Sword technique that covers the blade in fire and lightning when drawn. Fang Yi holds his Tang sword firmly as his eyes and the blade burn with red fire. The explorers below, who were thrown back earlier, watch in shock as Fang Yi stands safe inside swirling flames, seeing his sword absorb power from the lava. Fang Yi then uses his script points to permanently place the Scarlet Flame attribute into his sword, which now burns with strong energy. When the flames fade, his teammates think he's only suffered a small cultivation problem and has recovered. They're happy because the cave's spiritual energy has stabilized. One of them cheers that he can absorb the energy smoothly. Another, about to begin cultivating, calls Xiaoya's name with excitement. She tells them to train while she stands guard, and they thank her. Their calm breaks when Xiaoya senses people coming toward the cave entrance and warns that other pioneers are arriving. 3 strong men enter, led by one with an eye patch and glowing red eyes, who proudly claims the rich land as theirs. Xiaoya grows worried because all 3 are at the 1-star Ghost Axe realm, which her team cannot fight. Yet she tries to speak calmly, saying they arrive first and even offering to let them join. The leader mocks her low level and tells them to leave or face the results. Xiaoya becomes serious, knowing this new world follows survival of the fittest, but as a member of the Xia Nations Association, she refuses to accept this unfairness. Before the conflict grows worse, Fang Yi steps in with his burning sword and coldly asks if the man has nothing better to do than bully a young woman. He then strikes once, sending the 3 attackers flying in a fiery blast and shocking his teammates for meditation. He reminds them that only great force can stop such people. Fang Yi pushes his sword into the ground in front of the rival leader. A huge golden aura rises around him as he coldly tells them to leave. The leader, terrified by this second show of power, calls Fang Yi a monster and orders his men to run. Fang Yi watches them escape. His teammates rush to him, excited by his strength, but Fang Yi smiles and brushes it off, saying it's time to go. As they leave, Xiaoya thinks about how much power Fang Yi has shown and realizes he's held back. She believes he's a top-level pioneer and knows she has to report this to her organization at once. In the Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association office, A woman on the phone with Xiaoyu repeats in shock that another high-attribute pioneer has appeared. She quickly ends the call when she notices an imposing man behind her. The woman asks her superior if they're lucky to find 2 high-attribute pioneers in a row. He says it's not luck, explaining that each high-attribute person will become a new center of power, which worries him greatly. Under a bright sky, Fang Yi returns to the city and tries to look like a cosplayer, but his strong presence and Real sword draw attention. He sees news of the cave fight spreading online, scolding himself for being careless since his inner flame is too obvious. Trusting his teammates, he focuses on the urgent problem that the yang energy he's absorbed is pushing him toward another breakthrough, so he goes to the back mountain to find a quiet place. Minutes later, on the same mountain, a garden restoration specialist, Su Qingying, feels a powerful presence. She sees a burst of light like a small sun and knows someone is breaking into the 3-star ghost axe realm. Shocked by the scale of the energy, she rushes toward it to catch the person this time. High on the mountain, Fang Yi focuses on his breakthrough as he pulls in large amounts of golden energy that spin around him and form a bright sun-like ball above his head. A complex star-shaped form appears behind him. Golden sparks run over his skin, his eyes glow, and he struggles to control the wild power until it gathers into a huge divine axe of golden and light blue energy. Su Qingying arrives and stops in shock, seeing him about to swing the axe with perfect control, far beyond anything she's ever achieved. It reminds her of her own failed breakthrough that leaves her injured for days. As she moves closer, she sees that every bit of his power is clean and steady, making her feel he's like a god who's come down, calm and experienced like an ancient master. Fang Yi's eyes burn with golden light as raw energy spreads over his face. A system message confirms his success as he reaches the 2-star ghost axe realm. The divine axe strikes the ground, sending a huge shock wave across the mountain, cutting a path through the forest and forcing Su Qingying to brace herself. When the light fades, Fang Yi has vanished. She fears she's missed him again, thinking he knows she's tracking him. Seeing a large tree glowing with leftover light, she calls out to him. Fang Yi appears from the forest shadows, recognizing her as the one who's been watching him. She introduces herself as the captain of the Firefly Squad from the Xia Nation Spiritual Practitioners Association and one of the first pioneers. She admits she's followed him for 2 days and invites him to join the association. Fang Yi stays silent, then asks why he should join, surprising her. She speaks honestly, saying the Xia Nation wants to gather early pioneers to guide them in an organized way and protect them, even if it feels like a cage, because a great return of spiritual energy is coming and they'll need to stand together against unknown dangers. After hearing her speech, Fang Yi leans against a tree and calmly refuses to join, saying he cannot yet trust her or the association. Su Qingying is shocked and quickly shows her ID, saying she's been a famous athlete before the spiritual energy returns, hoping this will make him believe her. Fang Yi remembers seeing her photo as a runner-up in the Xia Nation long-distance race and understands her natural talent. But a dark memory of his past life comes to him, where the association fails and humanity falls. Knowing he's returned to change the future, he decides joining now is not right. He tells her he'll think about it and suddenly leaves. He then appears behind her and asks her to keep his location secret. Su Qingying suggests sending a mixed report to protect him while satisfying her superiors. Fang Yi agrees before disappearing again. She chases him but fails, then walks alone, annoyed at always losing him and tired of cleaning the energy traces he leaves. Her thoughts are cut off when her earpiece warns that strange creatures have appeared again. This brings back memories of wolf-like monsters born from pollution zones that feed on humans and can hide as disasters, spreading destruction if not stopped. A violent storm hits the city. Lightning fills the sky as alerts warn people to stay inside and close Yuhuang Mountain for flood risk. Some joke a powerful being faces a lightning trial. In a rainy alley, Fang Yi feels the wild lightning energy and knows this is another anomaly. He spots the storm center on a distant peak and runs across rooftops toward it. At Yuhuang Mountain's base, the system warns of a pollution zone. He sees bones and twisted trees near the summit as unknown danger is reported. Without stopping, Fang Yi walks into the stormy forest toward the peak as blue lightning strikes the mountain again, marking his target. Inside the Spiritual Practitioners Association Command Center, officials watch a blue energy vortex over Mount Yuhuang and report the danger is rising fast. forcing them to close the area as a new contamination zone. The leader pulls Su Qingying from another task to report. She says the thunder energy is unstable and can explode at any time, making the mountain an A-level zone that might soon rise to S-level, which will trigger the highest emergency plan. She warns that no explorer, including herself, can safely approach it. The room falls silent as they realize any mission there means certain death. A security officer orders the mountain base sealed with non-stop patrols, and the leader agrees that no one should go near it until the energy drops. While they act cautiously, Fang Yi is already inside the storm, standing under crashing blue lightning, protected by his golden aura. He knows survival is not enough and that he has to reach the storm's center at the peak to gain the purest thunder power. He's driven by memories of greater disasters to come and the need to strengthen his body, not just his weapon. Seeing the rare chance, he draws his flaming sword and thrusts it into a massive lightning bolt, letting wild thunder tear through him in painful waves as the storm resists him like divine punishment. He calms himself, remembers he must touch the source to gain power, and releases his golden sun breathing, roaring as he cuts through the storm with his sword. Golden light clashes with blue lightning in violent bursts. Blood drips from his mouth as he forces his way upward until he reaches the peak and drives his sword into the rock at the storm's center. There, the pressure grows so strong he can barely breathe. The storm focuses fully on him, gathering all its power into one blazing beam of white lightning aimed straight at him. The storm sends a final attack meant to destroy Fang Yi. But as he faces it, his system activates, detects a strong thunder attribute, and begins processing it. Far below, people in the city watch the huge lightning from tall buildings. Some take photos and others wonder if a god faces a trial, even thinking they see a person at the mountain peak. The clash ends in a bright explosion, and Fang Yi wins. The system confirms he's gained refined divine thunder power, letting him summon heavenly lightning and earning him 5 writing points. Floating in the air with blue lightning around him and golden light on his body, he understands that thunder is a top-level power for attack and defense, able to refine his body, while his sun power is more for defense. He understands that thunder also means cleansing and rebirth as it strengthens his bones and muscles without pain. The system offers him an upgrade to punish evil for double critical damage. When he lands, he thinks about his next step. He first wants to add thunder to his Tang sword, but worries it will mix badly with the sun power and damage the weapon. He then chooses to place the thunder attribute into his right hand instead. When the system confirms, all the blue lightning rushes into his hand as he takes the storm's power. The next day on Mount Yuhuang, the danger is gone. Su Qingying and Captain Han stand by body bags as she reports the energy level has dropped from extreme to mild in 3 hours. The Major realizes someone has been there, likely a seeker who enters before the mountain is sealed, survives the lightning, and uses thunder power to turn the disaster into a chance, causing the sudden drop after 8 in the evening. They agree such a person is dangerous because they don't know whose side he's on and must be found quickly. Far away, Fang Yi sneezes at home, unaware that the army has begun searching for him. The Major orders his troops to find the target at all costs, giving him the code name Tyrant. The investigation at Yuhuang Mountain starts right away, with the army hoping that the Spiritual Practitioners Association can soon recruit the mysterious person known as Tyrant, while they keep this event secret and also begin their own search. On the rainy mountain peak, the leader of the association tells Captain Han that they already have a high-level pioneer trying to make contact with this person, and then asks Su Qingying to give her report. She's caught by surprise and gives a half-true report, saying the incident is connected to the pioneer who cleared the pollution zone at a university. She explains that she found the body of a mutated rabbit and confirmed his yang flame power, while also admitting that he's very hard to find and promising that she'll try to get closer to him, all while hiding her private deal with Fang Yi. Captain Han listens carefully and is satisfied with her work. He praises her as a talented pioneer and says they'll spread stories about natural disasters to cover up the truth and avoid putting any news about spiritual energy on the internet. Feeling relieved, Su Qingying lets out a long breath when the meeting ends. Back at home, Fang Yi dries his hoodie using his golden sun breathing and checks his body, seeing blue lightning flash in his right hand, which is now his strongest part. It's calm and easy to control compared to the strong pain he felt when he first gained yang power. Remembering that thunder power deals double damage to evil creatures, he feels eager to test it. His phone then shows a major alert about a chemical factory explosion causing pollution, with officials saying no one was hurt, but online posts describing a cold and evil feeling nearby. These words feel familiar to Fong Yi, and an old memory suddenly appears in his mind of him hiding from a huge red demonic rat monster with many eyes that destroyed everything around it. He realizes that this new incident could be another dangerous anomaly. Back in the present moment, Fong Yi becomes serious as he remembers that these creatures are plants or animals that become self-aware after changing. Their power goes out of control and gives them deadly hunting abilities, and they often appear at night. He knows this threat is much more dangerous than the mutated rabbit he faced before. Clenching his fist as blue lightning sparks around it, he decides to go out that night to stop them from growing stronger and to test his new double damage ability in real combat. On a dark and stormy night, rain pours on empty streets as cloaked members of the Destroyer Squad race through the city, reporting to headquarters that they're tracking Anomaly File 7, Candle Night, a creature that can hide in the dark, makes a faint sizzling sound, and eats humans. From a rooftop, their scar-faced leader, Dong-Su, says the storm is perfect for the creature's hunt and that they must stop it. In the command center, operators upgrade the case to high priority with a 12-hour limit and tell the squad to continue carefully. As they near the last known location, headquarters warns that Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association agents are nearby, showing Su Qingying's photo and suggesting her team can help. The leader asks for her support, praising her skills. Elsewhere, she's surprised to hear she's well known. Soon, Su Qingying and her Ing squad arrive on a higher rooftop, and she jokes about being called for overtime. Dong-Su sternly replies that Candle Night eats people and this is serious, which upsets her team. When one member challenges his tone, Su Qingying turns to leave, saying they're not needed. As her team prepares to go, one of the Ing team's members tells Su Qingying that the other team will get eaten by the monster. Another member says that it's their problem. Just then, Dong-Su quickly apologizes and begs for her help, explaining that Candle Night is extremely dangerous and without her tracking skills they'll struggle. If they fail, the monster will kill people in the city. After agreeing to work together, the two teams wait on a rainy rooftop as Su Qingying focuses and forms a glowing blue orb that reveals the location of Candle Night, a multi-eyed rat-like monster hiding in the dark, wet ruins of a chemical plant where it's feeding. Its file says it likes darkness, damp places, and eating people. When the attack begins, the creature senses them at once and leaps away as an attack hits where it stands. The Destroyer Squad forms up and chases it, surrounding it from all sides before one member strikes it and knocks it into rubble. Instead of weakening, the monster changes, growing red sores and black spikes as it screams and sends out a dark energy wave. Su Qingying warns them to dodge the sound blast, but it's too late. The sonic wave throws the fighters back, knocking the squad leader off the roof, though he survives and realizes the danger is severe if the creature stays in the city. Candle Night changes again, growing bat-like wings. Its throat glows green as it sprays toxic dark mist onto the ground to melt the street and escape underground. Su Qingying's teammate warns that its corrosive power destroys anything it touches and that their team lacks the strength to fight it directly. Su Qingying stays calm, tells her team to support without breaking the Destroyer Squad's formation, and focuses on gathering information. A Destroyer Squad member prepares to strike as red eyes flash from the dark and the winged monster flies through the streets, chased by the cloaked teams. From a rooftop, Su Qingying feels the creature's energy spike and orders her team to stay back while she follows alone to a large abandoned factory. She says she'll scan the spiritual energy, showing Dong-Su her new association device that measures the safe energy level for a team as 50. Candle Night's reading is 48. But Su Qingying's wrist device suddenly flashes and jumps past 80. She shouts that the energy levels are out of control. A huge shadow with glowing green eyes appears in the factory rafters. She realizes they've walked into a trap and that more than one monster is there. Dong-Su panics and orders a retreat. Su Qingying quickly tells everyone to move toward the main door to force the hidden enemy to appear. She fires energy to clear a path and calls for her team to follow. But she suddenly cries out and collapses as invisible poison gas overwhelms her. Lost in the green darkness, she calls for her team with no answer. She understands the full trap, that Candle Night has led them into the territory of a far stronger creature, a giant shadowy serpent she's only faintly sensed before. The armored serpent with green eyes appears. She realizes its black mist is poison that drains spiritual energy and silently paralyzes its victims, making fighting useless and leading to certain death as her own power fades. Falling to the floor, she feels despair at the creature's cruel intelligence and closes her eyes, thinking this might be the end. A ray of light cuts through the green haze. The ceiling bursts open. Bright light fills the room. Fong Yi drops in, facing the dark serpent at once. The serpent lunges with its fangs as Candle Knight attacks from behind. Fong Yi dodges the strike and faces the rat-like monster, seeing the trap clearly. He lets Candle Knight bite his shoulder, noting their clever teamwork. He taunts it, then releases bright blue lightning from his body to shock the beast while firing a huge golden solar beam from his free hand into the charging serpent. Freed from the stunned rat, Fong Yi turns fully on the serpent, covering himself in crackling power and sending waves of golden flames at it to test how it will face fire. The giant serpent rushes at Fong Yi with its mouth wide open, but he dodges with ease, flipping through the air and swinging his glowing sword. He calmly challenges the beast as it pulls back from the bright blade. He jumps again and slashes the serpent's face, sending thunder power through his sword. Yet instead of breaking its skull, the head splits open and reveals another head beneath. He realizes the fight is not over. The serpent roars in pain as leftover thunder energy runs through its body and overpowers its dark power. Fong Yi smirks because he has the advantage. He's held back his fire and uses his sword to send thunder from his hand into the serpent, knowing it's stronger than Candle Knight. Suddenly, pain hits his shoulder where Candle Knight bites him, and purple scales spread from the wound, showing the serpent's poison works through its partner. His golden sun breathing fights the venom while his thunder purifies it. He realizes the mix of his powers lets him feel poison clearly and resist it, something others cannot survive. He guesses the serpent grows strong by using surprise attacks with Candle Knight as bait, killing many pioneers. But it's over now as the creature's huge body burns to ash in his holy fire. Fong Yi stands quietly, satisfied that his inner flame and thunder end the terror, confident his strength now matches high-level pioneers. As the fire fades, he senses someone nearby and turns to see Su Qingying stumble from the smoke, covered in ash but alive, with her unconscious teammates around her. Recognizing her, he tells her there's no need to pretend and that her act of playing dead needs work, which embarrasses her. She tries to excuse herself by saying the smoke wakes her, but Fong Yi sees through it and calmly says she's strong enough to keep a little energy to protect herself, and if she's truly unconscious, she won't have smelled anything. Embarrassed, Su Qingying thanks Fong Yi, amazed that he sees through her act and knows she's saved some energy to protect herself. She can't understand how he defeats both Candle Knight and the giant serpent alone. Fong Yi softens his tone, tells her to be honest with him and keep his identity secret, then says it's late and leaves by jumping through the hole in the ceiling and disappearing into the night. As he crosses the rooftops, he thinks about the battle, glad Su Qingying doesn't try to absorb the monster's dark power. He wonders why he cannot absorb it himself, guessing it's gone or his body rejects it, deciding to think about it later. Left in the factory, Su Qingying stares at the moonlit hole, disappointed she never sees his face and realizing he still doesn't trust her or the association. She then wakes Dong Su, who panics about an ambush until he sees the smoking skeleton of the giant serpent and stands in shock. Su Qingying explains that a powerful pioneer with a yang attribute saves them, likely the same person from her earlier mission, and says she hasn't recruited him yet, making him seem even more mysterious. As they begin cleanup, the leader gathers dark remains with green energy, then crushes debris that explodes with blue electricity, hurting him and shocking everyone. They realize Candle Knight's remains still hold strong thunder power, which doesn't match her report of a yang user. Both leaders kneel to study the charged remains. Su Qingying sees the thunder power is top tier. Dong Su guesses two high-level pioneers must have worked together, one using fire and one using thunder. But Su Qingying knows the truth is harder to believe, as she's seen one person use both golden fire and blue lightning. The burned serpent shows yang flame, and Candle Knight's body holds thunder. Both teams are left in disbelief about what kind of powerful pioneer can hold two top-level powers. When association reinforcements arrive, Su Qingying is relieved she's left people outside, knowing the rescue team comes expecting to collect bodies. Her two poisoned teammates wake and rush to her in relief, and the mission turns into an investigation. Scans show with 99% certainty that one person has killed both monsters. The leaders and teams are stunned that a single pioneer with 2 top-tier powers has saved them so easily. Su Qingying reports to her superior that the university pioneer and tyrant are the same person. Her boss tells her to pause contact because the pioneer has saved lives and is not an enemy, and because he and Captain Han disagree, they don't want to anger a powerful ally. She adds that on the back mountain she senses a weapon-like aura from him, once thought unlikely, but now possible since he has 2 high-tier powers. The superior doubts a lone pioneer can have a rare spiritual weapon and says they find no third energy trace. But Su Qingying clarifies the weapon aura feels like yang energy from the user. The superior realizes this means the weapon might be created by the user, pointing to the mythical spirit creation realm, which is extremely rare. He worries that if a third attribute exists, it could upset the balance of power, though the lack of a third trace might be good news. He ends the call hoping such power will never turn against humanity. Back home, Fang Yi showers and dries his clothes with yang energy. He thinks about how monsters and anomalies are increasing even before the full spiritual revival, how many self-trained pioneers have already reached 1-star Ghost Axe realm, and how the government and wild pioneers are cautiously testing each other in a brief period of uneasy peace. Standing in his room, Fang Yi thinks about Captain Han and Su Qingying and decides that, for now, monsters are still under control and there's no open conflict between pioneer groups, though this peace feels fragile. He understands why the government has formed the Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association but keeps it secret, trying to protect people and give quiet warnings without causing panic, since fear can destroy society faster than monsters. Even with his recent wins, Fang Yi feels the world is in danger because the government lacks the courage to openly begin the cultivation era. He knows the truth can lead to chaos with such a large population, and current pioneers cannot fully stop the coming disaster. What worries him most is how fast the monsters are evolving. The dark shadow-type creatures he fights work together to hunt pioneers and are smarter than normal beasts, though still weaker than the true dark monsters he remembers that can destroy whole nations. He knows Su Qingying's team would have died without him, but he feels hope that the dark power might one day be usable when conditions are met. Reviewing his skills, he has Golden Sun Breathing, Divine Thunder Tempering, and the Crimson Flame Blade, making him strong at the 3-star Ghost Axe realm. Yet he knows it's still not enough. His phone then rings with a call from his aunt, who says his cousin is coming to study in the city and asks if she can stay with him for safety. Though he barely remembers her, he agrees and gives his address. As soon as Fang Yi ends the phone call, we see the cousin, Feng Haju, messaging a friend, saying that she'll be staying over at her cousin's. She then turns on the news and reads a rumor about disappearances in Death Town linked to a pork beast challenge, which catches her interest, before her mother urges her to stay with her cousin for safety. The next day, under a bright sky, the young woman with long dark hair and glasses pulls her suitcase to Fang Yi's building, checks the map, and quietly says this must be the place. Outside the apartment, Lin Yi sees Fang Yi come out with a bag and asks if he's her cousin. He's surprised and confirms her name, though he doesn't recognize her. After a short awkward pause, they go inside and make polite small talk on the couch. She says she's in the city for a summer camp, and he tells her to ask if she needs anything. He gives her the key to the room across from his and goes to his own room. Lin Yi feels relieved because he seems easygoing and won't pry. Fang Yi, however, senses a faint and strange spiritual aura from her and guesses she's also a pioneer, thinking her summer camp story is a cover. In her room, Lin Yi messages her martial arts vanguard team, saying her cousin seems harmless and won't interfere, and warns them that many powerful people are still hiding. She decides not to cultivate at home so he won't notice. 3 days later, Fang Yi finds living together makes cultivation hard, since she might appear suddenly, and his golden aura is too bright to hide. What troubles him most is her extreme kindness, like cooking dinner and refusing to let him wash dishes, which feels unusual. He chooses to play along so she might lower her guard and reveal her real goal. During dinner, her phone buzzes, and he excuses himself to his room. Lin Yi answers the call and seriously confirms that the next great change will happen the next day at 3 in the afternoon and that she'll meet at the entrance of Yanghua Town. Fang Yi overhears this through the wall, recognizes the town, and feels sure she's a pioneer. He watches quietly, confident she cannot sense him yet, and is impressed by her hidden strength. Though Lin Yi is only a middle school student, She's already reached the 2-star Ghost Axe realm and is close to another breakthrough, which makes Fong Yi think her great talent explains her odd behavior. He now knows her real reason for coming to the city. The summer camp is only an excuse, and she's come for the coming great change of heaven and earth. He understands that every such change brings a chance to gain a new technique. While he doesn't know what power will appear this time, he decides he'll take whatever shows up. In her room, Lin Yi suddenly feels uneasy, as if someone is watching her. But seeing only the moonlit mountains outside, she brushes it off and keeps preparing. The next day, in Manhwa town, at the entrance, Lin Yi meets a friend who teases her about her cousin, asking if he's handsome. Lin Yi says he's kind but ordinary, disappointing her friend. Just then, a red-haired woman named 81 arrives and reminds them that Lin Yi herself always says she's ordinary, then says it's time to act. A man then asks about another member, and the redhead says only 6 of them are coming since that person is always mysterious. Nearby, Fong Yi watches from a cafe balcony with his sword, sensing their strength. The weakest is at 2-star and one man is at 3-star. Moreover, he thinks about the mysterious person that didn't come and join their team. His focus then shifts to the mountains, where he feels the real event is about to happen. High in the mountains, a great change appears as a huge green vine falls from the clouds like a fairy tale beanstalk. It's not really destructive but very important for the pioneers to understand the world. Deep in the misty mountains, Lin Yi's team sees the pulsing vine. Their leader confirms it's their target, but fear spreads when one member turns pale and warns them not to go closer, saying past pioneers who touched such a vine died and their bones were twisted inside the vine's roots. As panic takes hold, the scene around them changes, and the mountain path vanishes as they find themselves trapped inside a sort of red cavern. The vision of their deaths is only a frightening warning. Back on the misty mountain path, the adventurous friend is still shaken by fear. She says that even though she's come ready to risk her life, the moment she sees the vine her heart fills with terror and tells her this is a new, unknown high-level monster she cannot face. She cries that she doesn't want to die there and wants to leave. 81 and Lin Yi understand and say they've felt the same heavy pressure from the vine. Lin Yi explains that the vine feels empty, like all life has been drained from it, and that this lifeless feeling is why they're scared, leading them to realize the vine is trying to take their life force. Lin Yi then holds her friend's hand and says this is the path of a martial pioneer, and they have to face danger. From a nearby cliff, Fong Yi watches and feels the thick deathly energy from the vine, noting that besides pure dark power, this vine gives him the worst feeling. He sees it's a dead plant stained with the blood and bodies of past victims. Lin Yi takes charge and tells her team to sense the monster's energy from far away instead of getting close. She climbs into a high tree, meditating inside a blue energy shield. Fong Yi observes from afar and approves of the safe distance, impressed by Lin Yi's judgment. As she cultivates, the energy around her surges. Fong Yi realizes she's breaking through to the 3-star Ghost Axe realm, which she soon achieves in a bright blue flash, leaving her teammates amazed. The surge of energy wakes the vine, and its roots glow green as the ground shakes and tendrils burst out, racing toward them. 2 men are trapped by the fast vines while the others run as their friends shout for them to escape. The leader realizes Lin Yi's breakthrough has drawn the monster's attention. As dark green tendrils wrap around Lin Yi's weakening shield, the leader knows they must not be caught, because once wrapped, the vine's deathly aura will kill them. Lin Yi's shield begins to crack, and chaos spreads. 81 tries to pull her frightened teammate away, while the girl cries that they cannot leave Lin Yi behind. The leader shouts that she cannot waste her own precious energy to protect Lin Yi and die for her. She pushes aside a male teammate who coldly says they should leave and accept fate. His words make her furious. She swears she will not abandon her friend. From the cliff, Fong Yi sees Lin Yi trapped in meditation and still weak, with vines crushing her shield. He knows he has to act. Remembering his promise to his aunt, he leaps down. 81 kicks one vine free but is then bound by many more. Lin Yi's shield finally shatters. Before the plant can kill them, Fong Yi strikes, sending 2 bright golden arcs from his sword. A huge phoenix-shaped blast smashes the vines. He lands in a pillar of golden flame, saving both Lin Yi and the leader as the vine recoils from his overwhelming yang power. The tendrils hiss and melt as they pull back. The pioneers shield their eyes from the blinding light. 81 recognizes the pure yang attribute and knows only such high power can drive back the life-draining monster. The male teammate who wanted to flee feels bad now, realizing that even at 3-star Ghost Axe realm he cannot compare to this stranger's strength. As Fang Yi stands in golden light, his system detects the vine's extreme wood attribute and finishes creating a new technique called Endless Vitality, which absorbs nearby life force to heal him. Green energy surges around his body. As Fang Yi absorbs the last power of the strange vine, his system confirms he's taken its main attribute, called Desolation, a power that can create a dead aura that kills all life nearby. Green energy swirls around him. When he opens his eyes, they glow green like the vine as he stands in a lifeless clearing. He understands that if the vine grows closer to people, it will drain all life for miles. 81, hurt but alive, comes to thank him and asks how to repay him. He waves it off and says there's no need, then turns and leaves. In his heart, he knows he's gained more from the chance than they have. He leaps away, thinking their broken team will not survive the dangerous future. Meanwhile, all 3 of them watch him go. The man blames the girl for not saving this guy earlier. With danger gone and Lin Yi now at the 3rd tier, 81 decides they must stay together. Soon, Lin Yi wakes with blue light in her eyes. Her team rushes to her, relieved. The man who wants to leave her now says their fate depends on the leader, while another says they should think about the man who saves them. Lin Yi asks what happens and notices others are still unconscious. She then feels the hot yang power left on a nearby tree, and the male teammate explains everything. Later, back at Fang Yi's building, Lin Yi keeps thinking about the powerful man who drove the vine away with ease. She enters the apartment and sees Fang Yi waiting, who asks if she's okay. She forces a smile and blames her tired look on studying. He tells her to rest and offers to order food. In her room, she collapses on the bed, exhausted from the breakthrough but relieved she's no longer ordinary. She knows this dangerous life is now her fate, and that Fang Yi's calm life is no longer possible for her. As she rests, a new message appears in her Pioneer group chat from the usually absent strong member, Garan. Garan sends a short message asking to be told if there are any new signs of the powerful man. This is the first time he speaks in the group, so Lin Yi notices at once and agrees. She then asks if the man who saves them can be the same one from the Dark River Lava Dragon event and why he would help them. The chat fills with talk about the high-level young master, describing his bright sun-splitting slash that forces a witness out of a cave with white-hot light, and warning that no pioneer in the country can match him and that people should stay away. That night, Fang Yi rides his bike out, sure his cousin now trusts him and won't question him. He has a new goal, to find a carrier for his desolation power. Since the power suits plants best, he goes to the forest park. He knows putting this dark power on his own body might cause harm and clash with his thunder power, so he wants a plant like the strange vine. He believes the vine was once a normal plant that changed when it felt spiritual energy. He follows a sign to the park and walks into the woods. Under the full moon, he spreads green spiritual energy over the plants and waits for a strong response. Most plants answer weakly, but one small white flower with a glowing center reacts strongly, swaying as if calling to him. He touches it, and the petals close on his finger and drink his energy, then open again as if happy. Seeing its strong response, he knows this is the right carrier. He kneels, smiles, and chooses it, then releases a swirl of green energy into the flower. The system asks if he wants to force the desolation attribute into the plant. With green light in his eyes, he agrees. A bright light bursts out as the flower begins to change into a larger and more complex form. The process ends with a bright green flash, and Fang Yi suddenly feels a strong rush of power inside his body. The small white flower changes into a lotus-shaped plant with thick, bright green leaves that all glow with light. At the same time, it sends out a huge wave of desolation energy. The forest around him loses all life within seconds. The trees dry up and die, and the ground turns into dust as the power spreads very quickly. Fang Yi is shocked by how cruel and dangerous this power is. He knows he must leave at once before this strange disturbance brings the association to this place. He pulls the glowing plant out of the ground and walks away, also noticing that the park is being watched and is kept empty on purpose. To his surprise, The plant keeps taking in energy from the air and stays strong even after being pulled out of the soil. He understands that the desolation power has opened a path for the plant to grow into something far greater than any normal plant. Just as he's about to leave the area, loud alarms ring through the park, warning that the abnormal values have become too high. Far away in a control room, alarms also start sounding, and the staff quickly move to seal off the park. A team wearing protective suits enters the dead forest and sees that the readings reach 30, which is far higher than any past incident. They find that the air and the light are normal, yet all the plants have died within seconds. When one person tries to move closer, a senior researcher stops him and warns him that the remaining energy in the area is the desolation attribute. He asks if they know about the sky vine, the A-level mutation, and shows them its ghost-like image, explaining that its deadly power comes from desolation, which drains all life nearby and turns the land into a dead zone. The younger researcher freezes in fear, realizing he almost stepped into certain death. The researchers then remember another plant like this in Xia country, an old rotten tree in a restricted area of Tsang City that kills any life that goes near it. As they look at the dead forest, they understand that plant mutations in this new era are extremely dangerous, and that the desolation attribute is the strongest power a plant can awaken. Now there are 3 such beings: the ancient tree, the sky vine, and this new one. Their discussion suddenly stops when Captain Han arrives with his soldiers. He orders everyone to wear advanced suits and enter the dead zone. Together with Su Qingying, they scan the area and discover that the desolation energy is fading quickly, dropping to 25, and there's no moving source like the sky vine. Following the trail of energy, they reach one single point and freeze in shock. The source has been dug up and taken away. A researcher cannot believe it, but Captain Han says anyone who can steal the source from a dead zone is extremely important. Su Qingying then shows data proving one person's movements match this event and another mutation. The file shows Fang Yi. The Major confirms Fang Yi is likely the same pioneer she knows and says the rest is for the association. Later, Fang Yi puts the desolation flower into a small pot at home, names it obedient little white flower, and says it will grow strong on its own and help him in fights while staying hidden from Lin Yi. His phone rings with a call from his old friend Wang Liang, who invites him for a drink and says he has a big secret. Fang Yi agrees, not knowing it's a trap. After the call, Wang Liang reports to a stern-looking lady with a scarred face with Su Qingying present, saying he's followed orders and asking that Fang Yi be kept safe if he's innocent. The lady coldly tells him to do his job and says if Fang Yi is the wrong person, then Wang Liang should give his friend a word of advice. At a quiet bar, Fang Yi and Wang Liang clink their beers and talk after 3 years apart. Fang Yi sees his friend has grown more serious from army life. Wang Liang shares his service stories, then asks about Fang Yi, who says he's fine and studying in college. Fang Yi thinks of his past life, where he never sees Wang Liang again and believes he dies in war. He hopes to change that fate this time. Wang Liang then asks if Fang Yi has seen strange things like monsters. Fang Yi feels tested and plays dumb, asking what he means. Wang Liang warns him that soon money, school, and status will mean little because the world order will change. Fang Yi understands the army is testing him through his friend, yet Wang Liang is also trying to protect him. Suddenly, Wang Liang gets an urgent call ordering him back to duty in 10 minutes, and he stands up to leave. Fang Yi stops pretending, grabs him, and says he knows the mission is about the spiritual energy revival and wants to go. He says he trusts Wang Liang and wants to see what the army is facing since the association handles monsters. Wang Liang agrees and takes him to a heavily guarded base in a mountain valley called Military No. 19, a restricted zone. Fang Yi feels the dense spiritual energy there is stronger than a normal pollution zone. Soldiers check them and lead Fang Yi inside through bright halls to a huge underground training field. Many soldiers fight a spiky monster, using some sort of blue energy to hold it back. The beast then fires a red beam that injures soldiers. Somewhere else, the lady officer watches. Fang Yi senses the creature has dark and flame powers mixed. The officer confirms this, saying the monster is very cruel and has badly hurt her people. Her name is then revealed as Ji Lan, a 3-star Ghost Axe Realm officer. Ji Lan then sees Wang Liang and shouts his name, making him stand straight at once. She angrily asks why he brought an outsider into a restricted area, then cuts him off and tells him to forget it because the fight is urgent and he has to join the team. She looks at Fang Yi and feels nothing special from him, only weak spiritual energy, so she stops thinking he might be the strong pioneer they want. She warns him that he's in a restricted zone, his life is his own risk, and he must keep everything secret. Fang Yi agrees. Ji Lan then takes command, lifts a huge energy cannon, and calls 2 soldiers. They rush the monster with blue energy while she fires a powerful shot that causes a big explosion, but the monster only grows angrier. Red light pulses through its dark body, its mouth grows larger, and its mutation worsens. It swings its claws. One soldier warns another, and though the blow is blocked, the force sends a man flying. Ji Lan orders the team to keep their distance and not be careless, knowing they have to stop it before it fully changes. Fang Yi admires their teamwork, but senses the monster's power rises fast and shouts for them to run. His warning is lost as the beast fires dark purple energy that throws soldiers away. Ji Lan raises the alert level, orders no retreat, and the monster finishes transforming into a huge demon covered in black and red flames. A soldier cries that the evil dog has fully mixed with dark power. The beast locks its burning red eye on Wang Liang, who freezes in fear. As it lunges, Ji Lan and Fang Yi realize he's about to die. A soldier is thrown back and badly hurt. Ji Lan announces the creature is now a B-level threat. Fang Yi catches the injured man, who says the restraining collar explodes during the mutation. Ji Lan drops her cannon and orders her troops to stop the monster even if it costs their lives. As they prepare to make a last stand, Fang Yi steps in front of her, ignores her shout, and blue lightning bursts from his hand as he joins the fight. Wrapped in blue lightning, Fang Yi mocks the monster and rushes forward, his arm filled with thunder as he strikes its head. The hit explodes with divine lightning and sends a shockwave that throws soldiers back. The soldiers are stunned, knowing even their commander cannot defeat this B-level monster alone. Wang Liang asks Ji Lan if Fang Yi is really the person they suspect, and she confirms he's the tyrant. Fang Yi stands calmly before the burning, injured beast and tells Ji Lan and Wang Liang to step back. Ji Lan watches in shock, thinking how her whole team needs formations to face such a threat while he fights alone. She knows his thunder attribute is the strongest she's ever seen and that he's already a top pioneer in the country, with even greater potential after the revival. As Fang Yi raises his hand, thunder gathers in the sky, forming a huge storm. Ji Lan feels fear at how strong he can become. Fang Yi steps forward and releases his full power. A giant pillar of blue lightning strikes the monster, living up to his name, the Tyrant. The light fades, and the soldiers shake, saying the thunder's power is far worse than the monster's dark force. When the dust settles, Fang Yi gives Wang Liang a thumbs up and says the danger is over. Wang Liang rushes to him in relief, punches his shoulder, and laughs in shock at his strength. He apologizes for suspecting him before, saying he has to follow orders. Fang Yi tells him not to be formal and says he understands. Ji Lan thanks Fang Yi and shakes his hand, introducing herself as the warden of Restricted Area 19. She asks for his contact to file a report, and he agrees. She then invites him to join the army, saying his strength surpasses many special pioneers, but admits her offer is not enough. She says High Command will come to invite him in person later. Fang Yi laughs softly and says there's no need to be so formal, adding that he truly respects them because it takes real courage to risk their lives for others. Seeing soldiers fight for the first time moves him. Ji Lan thanks him quietly. Fang Yi then says that if they ever face trouble again, they can call on him for help, just as they protect ordinary people, but he asks that they never interfere with his cultivation or limit his freedom. Ji Lan is surprised by his condition. As it's late, Fang Yi says he'll leave. Ji Lan agrees, explaining they still have to deal with the monster's body and will arrange his return. As he leaves, Fang Yi understands the military's role in this new era. They stay in dangerous, energy-rich zones to train and to guard the normal world for monsters. After he goes, Ji Lan tells Wang Liang that Fang Yi is far beyond impressive and that what they see is only a small part of his true strength, a rare mix of talent, courage, and luck. Wang Liang offers to help recruit him as a friend, but Ji Lan knocks his head and tells him to get back to work. That night, Fang Yi meditates on his roof in a golden glow, thinking that he's only shown his thunder power to the military and that their respect means they'll try to recruit, not threaten him. He sees how the military guards restricted zones while the association protects cities, a plan that buys time for society. As he absorbs rich energy, power surges in him, and he feels a breakthrough coming. On the street below, Lin Yi looks up and sees a huge pillar of golden light from her building, far stronger than a normal breakthrough. She stares in shock, thinking another powerful pioneer has appeared in the city. On the street, Lin Yi looks up at the sky in shock as a huge wave of golden power gathers inside the clouds, far stronger than any Ghost Axe realm power she's ever known. She quickly understands that a spirit creation realm pioneer is nearby, and this thought fills her heart with fear and worry. Far away in a command center, loud alarms begin to ring as the anomaly value suddenly rises to 99. The leaders there panic, thinking that a god-level pioneer or a massive disaster has appeared, until a report comes in to confirm that it's only a pioneer breaking through to a higher realm. On the rooftop, Fang Yi finishes his breakthrough into the one-star spirit creation realm and feels much lighter in his body, although he doesn't feel much stronger than before. He then receives a message from Wang Liang warning him about a new pollution zone at Qingqing University, where the same heat anomaly has appeared again in the form of a huge fire. Fang Yi replies that he already knows about it and warns Wang Liang not to leak any sources, then promises to be careful and keep his hidden powers secret. Lin Yi comes back home carrying food. She sees Fang Yi looking at his phone and thinks that he's lazy and carefree, not knowing anything about the danger that pioneers face. She quietly decides that she'll protect him if any trouble comes. In truth, Fang Yi is carefully watching the video of the fire, noticing that it burns very fast and with great force. He thinks it might be another form of the Yang attribute, even worse than the one before. He decides to go and see it with his own eyes and plans to contact Ji Lan so he can enter the sealed area. The next day, many reporters gather outside Qingqing University, blocked by soldiers and loudly asking questions about the unstoppable fire. Ji Lan arrives with Fang Yi, and the soldiers open the gates for them at once, leaving the reporters shocked as the two walk into the locked area and look over the burned remains of the playground. Fang Yi looks down at the burned ground and asks if this strange fire is called Heavenly Fire. Ji Lan confirms the name, explaining that it appears suddenly, cannot be put out, and only stops after burning everything it chooses. After checking the area, Ji Lan goes to the principal's office, leaving Fang Yi alone near the taped-off zone. Fang Yi touches the cold soil and finds no remaining spiritual energy, which means he cannot collect this attribute. Just then, his ex-girlfriend Chu Qingli comes over with a friend and asks why he's there. Her friend laughs at him, saying he must still like Chu Qingli and should give up because he no longer fits into her life. Other students whisper to each other, thinking he's just another admirer who shouldn't even be inside the campus. The friend warns him to leave and threatens to report him. Chu Qingli feels conflicted and thinks he's only pretended not to care before. Ji Lan returns and asks if the girl is his friend. Fang Yi calmly says they're only high school classmates. Ji Lan accepts this and tells Fang Yi that the Heavenly Fire case is more complex and the principal will take them to the fire's starting point, adding that Fang Yi is needed as a military consultant. Soon, the principal arrives with officials and orders the area sealed. To everyone's shock, the principal walks straight to Fang Yi, shakes his hand with respect, and thanks him for coming to help. He even bows slightly and places him in charge of the playground matter. Students are stunned as security pushes them back. Whispers spread that Fang Yi must have a powerful identity. Meanwhile, Chu Qingli stands frozen as her view of him shatters. She hears people say that even if she tries to approach him now, he might not notice her, while Fang Yi never once looks her way. At Qingqing University's North District, the principal leads Fang Yi and Ji Lan to the fire site and says that after the Golden Sun event, several fires have appeared on playgrounds, including one he sees as a red flame falling from the sky, and one that cannot be put out, and the last fire burns on a basketball hoop with an endless flame. Ji Lan checks her wrist device and shows Fang Yi the reading of 11, explaining that anything over 10 is already a disaster level that requires a full lockdown. The number suddenly jumps to 60. She warns that if it keeps rising, it can threaten the whole city, so elite pioneers are needed. Before they can move, Fang Yi jumps over the fence into the flames. The reading shoots up to 110, upgrading the anomaly to S level. The principal panics. Ji Lan can only stare, saying even restricted zone soldiers don't enter alone. Inside the fire, Fang Yi is not harmed because his yang power protects him. But this protection stops him from touching the source, so he turns it off and endures the burning pain to reach the core that wraps around the hoop like a fire dragon. When he touches it, his system activates and detects the heavenly fire attribute. Though in pain, he decides to take the power. The system finishes compiling a new technique called the 9 Dragons Heavenly Fire Sealing Technique, meant to seal evil. The wild flames come under his control and coil around his arm like a tame dragon. He then begins absorbing the heavenly fire attribute into his body. His eyes glow red and fiery marks appear on his face. With his hands forming a seal, he calls out the technique. Glowing red chains burst from his back into the flames. Outside the fence, Ji Lan and the principal watch in shock as Fang Yi uses sealing power they recognize from high-level military techniques. With one order, he pulls the red chains back, forcing all the wild heavenly fire into a small sealed ball that floats back to the burning hoop. He lands and tells them the fire is sealed for now and warns them not to open the area or let anyone near it, which will stop the fire from spreading. The principal agrees and says the playground will stay closed since the school has many others. Ji Lan stares at Fang Yi in silence. When the principal leaves them alone, she tells Fang Yi to stop pretending and admits she's talking about his true strength, not the heavenly fire. She says powerful pioneers often hide secrets, and then warns him that after the full spiritual revival, people like him will be as important as weapons of war, and every major force will rush to recruit him with huge offers. She advises him to think ahead so he won't be surprised. Fang Yi asks why she and Wang Liang act like they're not worthy to recruit him. She explains there is a legendary top unit that is far stronger and likely the place he'll choose. She says they're very busy dealing with serious threats. As they walk to the cafeteria, Fang Yi realizes even the strongest forces are under pressure, meaning terrible anomalies are already appearing and spirit creation pioneers like him are fighting them. He feels time is short and he's still not ready. He then focuses on the heavenly fire he's taken. He sees it as a wild flame that destroys everything and will be perfect against enemies that can heal or multiply. He suddenly thinks of using this power on his crimson flame blade, knowing it will greatly strengthen his attacks. Fang Yi goes to the back mountain to test his new power and finds a big warning sign blocking the path, saying the area is dangerous. He guesses the Spiritual Energy Association has closed it for him and decides to accept the favor. Soon, he senses an intruder with an aura like the one in the factory, and a smart monkey monster with red eyes watches him from the trees. Fang Yi chooses to test his new skill. The system asks if he wants to put the heavenly fire attribute into his Tang sword. He agrees, and the blade bursts into endless flames. He uses his crimson flame blade with heavenly fire and sends a huge firestorm at the monster. The power is much stronger than before, and the flames don't hurt him. The beast survives and tries to flee, so Fang Yi chases it. In the forest, a streamer girl is filming live and boasting about her luck. Viewers dare her to go film the heavenly fire at the university. Suddenly, the fleeing monster attacks her, knocking her phone away while the stream continues. Viewers think it's fake, but she's pinned and about to be bitten. A fire dragon blast hits the monster and throws it back. She looks up and sees Fang Yi standing inside the flames without harm. Shaking, she films him and believes she's been saved by an immortal. The clip goes viral with over 13.5 million views, calling him the Heavenly Fireman and King of Flames. In an office, Chu Qingli's friend excitedly shows her the video and says it proves cultivators are real. Chu Qingli says it's fake effects, but when she looks closely, she freezes in shock, seeing the man looks just like Fang Yi. Chu Qingli tells herself the man in the video cannot be Fang Yi, because real heavenly fire would have burned him to ash. But her doubt quickly turns into fear as she wonders if it truly is him. She worries he might use his power to take revenge for their breakup, yet she stubbornly decides she'll never bow to him. Elsewhere, 81 shows Lin Yi the same video and asks if the man looks familiar. Lin Yi agrees he seems like the one who saved them from the vine, then reveals that a master who reaches the spirit creation realm lives near her home, making her wonder if Fang Yi could be that person. In another place, Xiao Ye and Li Yu recognize Fang Yi's stance and blade work, realizing they once stood beside someone far stronger than they knew. The news reaches both major organizations, where officials admit their pioneers are struggling. Su Qingying says the military is already in close contact with Fong Yi, and she believes he'll help them. In the military command center, Ji Lan and Captain Han are shocked by his fast growth and agree they must recruit him, not threaten him, while ordering support, gear, training sites, and control of the viral rumors. In a hospital room, Ji Lan sits beside her unconscious teacher and tells him that Xia Nation has found new hope and that this hope's arrival has raised the chances that the teacher might wake. The next morning, Fong Yi eats breakfast and notes the viral video has been removed and the streamer banned. He then grows worried when Lin Yi doesn't come home or answer calls. Deep in a foggy forest, Lin Yi and 81 are lost for about 10 hours, injured and low on strength. The leader blames herself. Lin Yi urges her to stay alert and save energy. As Lin Yi wishes for even a fraction of that master's power, a huge shadow monster with red eyes rises behind them. The shadow monster jumps from the fog at 81. Lin Yi pushes her away while shouting a warning, then fires bright blue energy that cuts off the creature's head. More shadow figures come out of the mist. Lin Yi realizes they're the reanimated bodies of people who've died here, while the real monster stays hidden and turns victims into puppets. The leader says their attacks cannot hurt the mist and their strength is being drained. Lin Yi sees they're trapped in an illusion where the enemy is waiting for them to grow weak. The sky tears open and a huge blood-red eye appears, then splits into many smaller eyes. The leader slashes at them in panic while Lin Yi warns the monster is changing. A red blast shatters Lin Yi's barrier, leaving her alone as shadow tendrils drag her into darkness. She feels regret, thinking she'll never see the coming era. At the last moment, blue lightning tears the dark apart and Fong Yi bursts in, saying he almost arrives too late. He smashes the domain with thunder and lands, saving Lin Yi and her unconscious leader. As Lin Yi stares in shock at Fong Yi, a multi-eyed fleshy orb appears behind him. Fong Yi lights his hand with heavenly fire and burns it with his crimson flame blade, ending it with a final scream. The leader wakes inside a ring of fire and thinks they're dead. Lin Yi tells her they're alive and safe. Fong Yi walks over, says it's solved, and jokes about breakfast. The leader suddenly recognizes him as the man who saves them in Yonghua town from the death vine. Lin Yi is stunned to learn the Fire Master is her cousin. The leader asks how such a super master can be the ordinary cousin Lin Yi had described. Fong Yi smiles awkwardly as she reminds Lin Yi he defeated the Desolation Vine with one strike. Lin Yi finally understands that Fong Yi is the actual powerful fire user. But she's shocked because she just saw him use pure thunder to destroy the dark mist, which means he has 2 high-grade attributes, making him a rare genius. She then remembers the huge spiritual wave in her neighborhood and realizes the spirit creation breakthrough might also have been his. Fong Yi calmly confirms everything before asking why they faced the dark anomaly alone and where their teammates are. 81 explains one teammate is sick and another is on a hard mission. Lin Yi then admits that she became reckless after her breakthrough and thinks she can handle it. Fong Yi notices the leader now defends her team and sees their hidden problems. He then asks both of them to team up with him. The leader is overjoyed at the chance to work with such a strong master, while Lin Yi feels deep relief knowing Fong Yi has been quietly protecting her. She thanks him with a tearful smile and promises to cook extra eggs for him. Lin Yi then gets a mission alert from Sister Ji Lan about a high-risk collection task in the extreme dark zone linked to dark attribute energy. She explains this restricted border area leaks dark power into the city and is too dangerous even for the government to explore deeply. Fong Yi suggests joining and asks her to request details. Though Ji Lan is usually silent, she replies with rare detail that the goal is to collect a lost marsh flower, the rewards are high, the dangers are dark attribute threats, and teams are required. She then warns an S-level anomaly may be involved and hints that if they have a strong partner, they should still join. Elsewhere, Ji Lan sees the message and thinks her part is done. Back in the park, Fong Yi understands the hidden meaning as a personal challenge meant for him, so he decides to accept and go to the extreme dark zone. Lin Yi, using her online name Fong Huju, accepts the mission and tells Ji Lan her team has 3 people. The scene then shifts to a hospital where Ji Lan walks with 2 helpers who worry the team is too small. But Ji Lan calmly says that if the pioneer the nation can trust truly exists, he'll come, and if he doesn't, then it means their fate is not meant to be. With a quiet smirk, She explains the mission is not really to send strong pioneers to die, because the marsh flower grows from a dark pool made from fallen bodies and souls, and getting it is the only way to save more pioneers in the long run. She says the real goal is to protect the new generation like Fang Yi's team, who are shown traveling by subway, and also to revive the strongest fighters who already fall. They reach her teacher's room. She holds his hand and says they must get more marsh flowers at any cost, revealing he's the only pioneer in the Xia nation to reach the Jinggang realm and that the flower is the only thing that can wake him. She explains that after full spiritual revival, such a person is like a nuclear weapon for the nation, so even losing squads is worth it. A helper worries about Ji Lan's health, which makes her angry and sad, because her life is saved by her fallen teammates. She calms down, says her headache can wait, and remembers her old team with pain. A memory shows her younger self in the extreme dark zone, kneeling by dead comrades, as her dying captain gives her his power and tells her to live and finish the mission. But later she learns the flower cannot be touched by blood, so their sacrifice still fails. After a long trip, Fang Yi's team reaches the guarded edge of the extreme dark zone, passes tanks and fences, sees a blue barrier, and feels the heavy dark aura. 81 says it's far more terrifying than the monster they fight before. Fang Yi tells them to stay calm and points out that many other pioneers have already gathered at the checkpoint, waiting to enter. Lin Yi says they're not only here for rewards because dark attribute power is cruel and hard to fight, and with more dark monsters entering cities, pioneers now know they must face the source or the cities will fall. 81 agrees. Fang Yi smiles at Lin Yi's sharp thinking as they see many different pioneers with strange gear waiting for the gate to open. Fang Yi explains that he's faced dark monsters before, first the mutated rabbit-like beast, and then the serpent and candle knight who work together and almost wipe out an association squad. He says the key problem is that these creatures keep slipping past border defenses, which means they must be using a hidden method, so the source in the extreme dark zone can no longer be ignored. Near the barrier, Captain Su Qingying is briefing pioneers when she suddenly sees Fang Yi with Lin Yi and 81 and panics. However, Fang Yi notices her and calls her name, so she walks over with her Yang squad. 81 teases Fang Yi by calling Su Qingying Lin Yi's sister-in-law, making both women flustered. Fang Yi calmly explains she's Captain Su from the association, which only embarrasses her more. Then, an older pioneer scolds them for being rude and joking in such a dangerous place. 81 talks back, causing tension until an armored vehicle arrives, and Ji Lan steps out. All the pioneers recognize her famous presence as she walks to the huge blue barrier. Fang Yi understands she's there to open the gate. As she forms a glowing symbol and pushes it forward, the energy wall splits open, revealing the entrance into the restricted zone. As the barrier tears open, Ji Lan stands beside the dark gateway, her aura crackling with energy. She issues a stern warning to every pioneer present. The lost blooms must be harvested whole and untainted by human blood, or there will be no reward whatsoever. With that final command, she orders them to enter, and the pioneers begin walking through the portal into the unknown. One man grumbles that Ji Lan isn't going in herself, but his teammate quickly silences him, reminding him grimly that their families will be compensated if they die. It's a chilling reality check that sets the tone for what lies ahead. Su Qingying quietly leans toward Fang Yi and points out the arrogant pioneer, Elder Wu, revealing that he's also a one-star spirit creation cultivator just like Fang Yi. She adds that several others are hiding their true strength, while the rest are powerful Ghost Axe pioneers. The sheer concentration of elite fighters makes it clear just how lethal this mission truly is. Outside the zone, Ji Lan's assistant reports that numerous Ghost Axe and spirit creation pioneers have entered, noting that the zone contains threats ranging from B to S-level monsters. Ji Lan responds calmly, instructing her to prepare monitoring equipment. Inside the zone, Fang Yi immediately warns his team to stay close, explaining that the dark mist blocks vision and can easily separate them. The moment they step deeper, the leader 81 becomes sick and vomits from the terrible smell of rot and decay that permeates the air. Su Qingying reassures her that this reaction is normal, noting that even other teams are experiencing the same symptoms. She explains the brutal truth. The dark attribute pollutes pioneers and amplifies monster strength, turning normal B-level threats into at least A-level dangers. She warns grimly that even spirit creation elites have died in this place. Lin Yi asks if Su Qingying feels her strength being suppressed, and she confirms it's far worse in this environment, urging everyone to exercise extreme caution. Su Qingying takes the lead, instructing the team to talk less, move faster, and focus their energy to resist the oppressive mist. Fang Yi notices he feels considerably less discomfort than the others and guesses his yang and thunder powers are naturally resisting the dark energy. Nearby, Elder Wu's team cuts through obstacles easily and laughs at the danger, their arrogance on full display. Lin Yi still feels nauseous, so Fang Yi gently places his hand on her back and sends warm spiritual energy through her body. Her nausea fades instantly as she feels the comforting heat of his power flowing through her. Lin Yi compares her wood power to Su Qingying's water power that can transform into ice. Fang Yi corrects her, explaining that his warmth comes from the yang attribute, not fire. He apologizes for not explaining earlier, then admits he caused both the North Gate incident and the university fire, which shocks 81. She asks if he possesses 3 high-grade powers. He briefly confirms while keeping his desolation power secret. 81, cold and weakened, asks him to warm her too. He agrees, placing his hand on her shoulder and channeling warm energy through her, making her gasp in relief. When Su Qingying witnesses this, she and her 2 teammates also accept his help, feeling the same soothing warmth spread through their bodies. Their brief moment of relief shatters when heavy footsteps echo through the mist. Fang Yi warns that a monster is approaching. A shadow wolf suddenly rushes out of the darkness. Su Qingying forms a blue blade and strikes, and the beast seems to vanish. But Fang Yi sees through the deception and shouts for everyone to watch the ground. Shadow hands burst upward, trapping them as zombie puppets begin closing in from all sides. Fang Yi orders them to fall back, draws his sword, and releases a massive wave of fire that burns the entire horde away. He explains that only 2 monsters controlled all those puppets, which shocks Su Qingying. She realizes the creatures have evolved enough to mimic human speech after consuming many people. The group realizes with dread that even weak monsters in this zone have grown to A level and pose lethal threats to anyone below spirit creation. From far away, Ji Lan watches through her monitoring device and admits with quiet amazement that Fang Yi just killed 2 A-level phantoms in a single strike. Lin Yi urges everyone to stay together, warning that the monsters can hide and deceive them. 81 feels shaken by the heavy aura radiating from Fang Yi. Then a deep roar like crashing waves rolls across the land. The ground trembles violently. Other teams are seen fleeing in terror. A man screams for his partner to run from the evil tide. Ahead, Fang Yi, Su Qingying, and Lin Yi witness a massive storm of dark energy filled with countless red eyes and monstrous forms sweeping forward, swallowing everything in its path. Elder Wu's team is caught directly inside the legendary Dark Tide. As the Dark Tide rolls across the land and devours screaming pioneers, Elder Wu mocks it arrogantly and charges straight in, raising a green barrier and claiming the zone for himself. But the instant he enters, dark tendrils wrap around his body. Terror floods his face as he realizes the monsters inside are far stronger than A or even S level. He and many others are dragged into the darkness, their screams echoing through the zone. From a distance, Fang Yi's group watches in horror. 81 fears everyone ahead is already dead. Su Qingying explains with grim certainty that the Dark Tide is the highest form of the dark attribute, a wave of pure corruption that even consumes other monsters. She adds that the mission was planned to avoid this exact phenomenon, making her fear that the teams ahead are completely lost. Lin Yi remembers stories claiming the tide can destroy an entire city and begs Fang Yi to retreat. But he remains calm, raising a golden barrier reinforced with blue lightning to protect his team, and says they can combine their power to survive. Then he declares he will go destroy the tide himself. Before anyone can stop him, he launches forward as a streak of fire and lightning into the storm, cutting a path through the chaos. Inside, Fang Yi floats unharmed within his golden aura. He observes that the tide functions as an incubator that fuses and evolves countless monsters from B to A to S level, making the entire threat at least SSS level. This explains how it can swallow spirit creation pioneers whole. A fused beast attacks, and Fang Yi burns it to ash with one strike of his heavenly fire blade. He realizes his new realm and weapon make such enemies easy to eliminate. Looking around, he spots Elder Wu still alive but being consumed by dark energy, struggling and not yet fully drained. Recognizing the man still has a slim chance of survival, Fang Yi releases a huge blast of purifying thunder that shatters the dark mass and throws the man out of the tide. Standing over his fallen enemy, Fang Yi sees the man can still be saved, though barely. At the same time, the dark energy twists violently as the monsters he killed begin to reform. A massive many-eyed creature rises from the darkness, and Fang Yi realizes the tide can endlessly regenerate its minions. This power likely belongs to threats beyond S level. Seeing no end to it, Fang Yi chooses a far riskier plan. He deliberately drops his protective aura, allowing the dark tide to cover him completely so his system can sense the extreme dark attribute. But the system fails to absorb it, showing this power is still beyond him even at the spirit creation realm. Knowing he cannot destroy the tide or absorb it, he searches for another solution. He briefly regrets not bringing the desolation flower. Then understanding strikes him. He already has a solution. Outside the tide, Lin Yi and the others watch from within the golden barrier as the chaos goes eerily still, filling them with deep fear. Su Qingying holds Lin Yi's hands, telling her to focus her power to support the shield and reminding her that Fang Yi is far stronger than them. All they can do is trust him. Then a towering pillar of pure fire bursts out of the dark tide, pushing the darkness back. Fang Yi rises from the flames, activating the 9 dragons' heavenly fire sealing technique. His body glows with blue and gold energy as 9 enormous fire dragons circle above him, crushing the dark tide into one unstable orb. Watching from afar, Ji Lan recognizes the heavenly fire seal and cannot believe he's just sealed something capable of destroying an entire city. Fang Yi then wraps the fiery sphere with divine thunder, forming a roaring blue vortex. He calls out the 9 dragons' edict as fire and lightning collide in a massive explosion that shakes the entire zone. With immense effort, he forces the energy to collapse inward, compressing it into a small, brilliantly glowing orb of tightly sealed power. After Fang Yi's devastating attack, Elder Wu lies unconscious nearby. Fang Yi feels the danger has subsided for now, thinking he's saved a life by chance and wondering what to do with the man. Lin Yi rushes to him in relief. Su Qingying offers to have her team take the injured man back for treatment. Fang Yi tells them not to relax, warning that the seal on the dark tide is only temporary and the dark energy remains dangerously strong. They must hurry to find the lost bloom before the seal weakens. Su Qingying agrees as her team carries the unconscious man away. At a cliff's edge, they observe that no other pioneers have survived. 81 mourns their sudden deaths, while Fang Yi feels relieved he didn't have to watch them die helplessly. Near a dark pool, Fang Yi tells the others to continue forward with Su Qingying while he stays behind to guard their rear. Once he's alone, the system senses a powerful dark fluctuation. Energy begins rising around him as the system starts writing a new technique. Dark pillars lift him off the ground as the process completes. His eyes glow purple as he gains the dark attribute technique, Limitless Dark Domain, a domain that weakens all spiritual energy within it. He sees this will give him tremendous advantage when combined with his other powers. As the energy settles, Su Qingying feels the dark mist beginning to reform. Shock strikes her as she realizes Fang Yi has absorbed the dark tide's power. This should be forbidden, as dark energy originates from deep evil and has driven past pioneers mad or worse. Even S-class threats have devoured spirit creation cultivators who attempted this. The dark energy then withdraws completely into Fang Yi. He calmly calls out to the hidden watcher. Ji Lan emerges from the mist, confirming he's sealed the dark tide and asking if he's absorbed the dark attribute. Fang Yi calmly admits he has, shocking Su Qingying all over again. In a sudden move, Ji Lan pulls a gun and aims it directly at Fang Yi's head. Everyone freezes in shock. 81 shouts Ji Lan's name while Lin Yi stands paralyzed with fear. Su Qingying jumps in front of Fang Yi and blocks the weapon with her arm, demanding to know why Ji Lan would threaten someone both the military and the association desperately want to recruit. Fang Yi calmly places a hand on Su Qingying's shoulder and asks Ji Lan why she seems eager to finish the mission but unhappy they haven't died. 81 angrily accuses Ji Lan of standing by during the dark tide and now turning on the one who saved them. Ji Lan then lowers the gun with a small smirk, saying it was a test. She praises how much Fang Yi is trusted by those around him. Fong Yi understands she wants to judge his character herself instead of relying on reports. Ji Lan explains she didn't help during the tide because pioneers live by harsh rules where life and death change in an instant. She adds that since Fong Yi displayed such overwhelming power, no monsters dare approach them. The strong are feared, the weak are bullied. It's a view Fong Yi agrees with. Ji Lan offers to lead them to the Lost Bloom. As they walk, Su Qingying quietly tells Fong Yi that Ji Lan is the only survivor when her own squad encountered the dark tide. This helps him see that her cold obedience hides deep trauma and self-destructive tendencies, though a strong belief keeps her moving forward. Fong Yi tells his team to be kind to her. He explains that her spiritual barrier is badly damaged, leaving her much weaker than she should be. This becomes evident as she stumbles while walking. They reach the mass graveyard and witness the bones of fallen pioneers scattered across the ground. Soon, a single glowing lost bloom appears in a clearing. But red-eyed monsters rise from the shadows to guard it. Ji Lan walks forward in a trance, whispering to the flower. Fong Yi senses she's lost control. He quickly forms a ball of flame and hurls it toward her to snap her out of it. The fireball flies at Ji Lan. She wakes from her trance just in time, recognizing it as the rare yang attribute and knocking it aside. The deflection sends a shockwave through the air. She and Fong Yi face each other in tense silence, golden energy still glowing in his hand. Painful memories rush back to her, and she wonders if she's still not ready. Seeing she's awake, Lin Yi and Su Qingying hurry to her side, checking if she's alright. They warn that the dark attribute is affecting her mind, so it's safer to stay together. Fong Yi steps forward and says it's enough if he goes alone to retrieve the lost bloom. As he walks into the misty clearing, the ground trembles violently. A massive wolf-like monster materializes before him. Yet Fong Yi calmly channels divine thunder, sending lightning coursing through it. He realizes it's an S-class fox demon that has grown powerful by consuming other monsters. Knowing time is running short, he decides to test his new power. He releases the limitless dark domain, which forms a purple sphere that traps the monster. Shadowy tendrils crush it mercilessly, downgrading its power to B-class. Fong Yi finishes it with one fiery slash. Outside, Su Qingying and Lin Yi sense this dark power feels fundamentally different. Ji Lan explains it's Fong Yi's own domain, a rare skill only her teacher and a handful of others can use. When the sphere fades, Fong Yi stands alone among the ashes. He announces the area is safe, then carefully picks the lost bloom with its roots completely intact. He tells them to leave immediately because the sealed dark tide could return at any moment. Ji Lan finally relaxes. She thanks Fong Yi sincerely for saving them and completing the mission. She thanks the team as well and says it's time to go. As they prepare to leave, Ji Lan stops to thank Fong Yi again. She tells him the full truth. Elder Wu, the Xia Nation's only King Kong realm pioneer, is near death, and the lost bloom is the only medicine that can save him. This means Fong Yi has just saved the life of the nation's strongest protector. Fong Yi quietly repeats the name of the King Kong realm, taking this revelation in. When they emerge from the extreme dark zone, red clouds fill the sky above them. 81 cheers with relief while Lin Yi feels deeply thankful to see daylight again. A crowd of officials welcomes them, celebrating the mission's success and admitting they doubted it would work at first. As they walk forward, Lin Yi notices a huge armored vehicle surrounded by elite soldiers. 81 recognizes the symbol of the Star God War Zone, the strongest military force in the nation. She feels embarrassed for shouting at Ji Lan earlier, now realizing Ji Lan belongs to that legendary organization. An official carefully hands the lost bloom to Captain Han, who smiles and salutes Fong Yi along with his soldiers. He promises Ji Lan he'll send the flower to the hospital immediately before departing. Fong Yi asks Ji Lan if she's from the Star God War Zone. She confirms it, saying news of his strength has spread and he'll soon be famous nationwide. She openly praises his power and invites him to join the Star God War Zone, offering the best resources available. She promises rewards will be given to his team and Su Qingying's squad as well. She then warns him about the growing danger of dark attribute anomalies spreading like a deadly tumor. She explains why forbidden zones must be guarded at all costs, saying she's telling him this because he deserves to know the truth, not to force him into joining. Fong Yi promises he won't ignore future anomalies. Ji-lan finally smiles in relief. She introduces herself properly, hands him a token marked with the Star God War Zone emblem that grants free access to forbidden zones, and asks if he'd like to go see Elder Wu. Fong Yi asks if she means the King Kong Realm Pioneer. Ji-lan confirms, saying he's her teacher and she wants Fong Yi to meet him. She adds that it's her own wish because she hopes to become his friend. Fong Yi accepts the token, puts it away, and agrees to go with her, saying it's good to make friends. He then holds out a hand crackling with blue lightning and says he has a gift for her. Ji-lan looks confused. Fong Yi explains he can cleanse the dark poison from her body. He releases a wave of thunder that washes over her completely. She's shocked to feel the pain fade as the cold poison is purged away, leaving her feeling warm and light as the dark energy inside her is completely removed. When it ends, Fong Yi asks how she feels. She says she feels great and the dark power is gone. Su Qingying watches as medics treat the unconscious Elder Wu, then notices Ji-lan's aura is now stable and her injuries have vanished. Ji-lan explains that Fong Yi's pure thunder has cleansed her body entirely. Su Qingying is amazed, realizing his power can both destroy and save. Su Qingying has an idea. She asks Fong Yi to help their medical team treat dark corruption, bowing as she requests him to demonstrate his power again. He releases a small wave of thunder as proof. The medics confirm it can fight dark power, though they warn that healing the arrogant pioneer will require far more energy and full recovery may not be possible. Fong Yi agrees to help and follows them to use a specialized device to channel his power. Lin Yi watches in awe, amazed that Ji-lan is from the Star God War Zone and that her cousin is strong enough to earn their respect. Later, Fong Yi checks on Lin Yi and 81. They say they'll train independently to grow stronger. He agrees and tells them to be careful. Su Qingying's team says their goodbyes. Ji-lan tells Fong Yi it's time to go see Elder Wu. As the ambulance departs, Su Qingying complains that the Star God War Zone has taken Fong Yi. Her team tries to calm her, while it becomes clear the association is disorganized and its top squads don't work well together. Fong Yi travels with Ji-lan to a high-security hospital belonging to the Star God War Zone. He asks if Elder Wu is here. They enter a room where Elder Wu lies unconscious, appearing thin and weak. Veins are visible on his face and neck, and he's breathing with the assistance of a machine. Ji-lan says he looked like a corpse before, and even after using the Lost Bloom, he hasn't woken up. Fong Yi wonders how such a powerful King Kong Realm pioneer could end up in this condition. Ji-lan explains that a massive dark anomaly appeared over the capital. Elder Wu stepped forward alone to stop it while her squad channeled their spiritual energy to support him. The threat was beyond S level, taking the form of a dragon hovering over the ruined city. She says if it had fallen, the capital and nearby cities would have been completely destroyed. Elder Wu used his own domain to seal it, but the dark power backfired and corrupted his body. Only his King Kong realm strength kept him from being turned to ash. Fong Yi feels deep respect for him. He remembers that in his past life, many pioneers died protecting humanity. He believes Elder Wu likely died then, so he decides to help now. When Ji-lan asks what he's doing, Fong Yi says he'll try to remove the remaining dark power. He places his hand on Elder Wu's chest and sends blue lightning into his body to help him wake faster. Ji-lan warns that this dark power originates from an S-level disaster but allows him to try. Fong Yi feels the oppressive dark force inside, even after the flower has weakened it. Suddenly, dark energy bursts outward, pushing them both back. As Fong Yi raises his golden protection, the dark power drags his mind into a vision of the ruined city and the giant eye of the anomaly. Inside the vision, a massive red eye fills the ruined sky and demands to know who Fong Yi is. He realizes his spirit has been pulled into this illusion by the dark power inside Elder Wu. But he calmly responds that his name doesn't matter because he's come to destroy it. When the eye shoots spikes at him, he quickly uses his golden breathing to dodge, then blocks strange lightning that feels as powerful as divine thunder. The anomaly reveals its true form, a vast swarm of insect-like creatures surrounding one central red eye. Each individual creature is as strong as the monsters from the Dark Tide, and tens of millions rush at him like a living storm. Fong Yi draws his flaming sword and cuts through the swarm with one enormous slash, splitting the central eye in half. He judges it to be an S-level collective anomaly that's weaker now, likely because this is an illusion and the lost bloom has already weakened it. The two halves fall and shatter against the city ruins. Fong Yi realizes this is the disaster Elder Wu faced alone. He then opens his limitless dark domain. A dark vortex begins pulling in the remaining swarm. The creature warns they will return. This makes him think other disasters like this may exist elsewhere. As the vision breaks apart, Fong Yi returns to reality and pulls the last remnants of dark energy from Elder Wu's chest, forming a purple mass mixed with blue lightning. He seals it using the 9 Dragons' heavenly fire sealing technique, compressing it into a small fiery sphere. He tells Ji Lan this is the last remnant of the city disaster, now weakened by both the lost bloom and Elder Wu's seal. He praises Elder Wu for holding such immense power within his body, knowing others would have died instantly. Ji Lan watches the veins fade and Elder Wu begin breathing more easily. She thanks Fong Yi for saving him. Fong Yi says the flower made it possible. He then crushes the sealed dark sphere into dust, announcing the remnant is now completely gone. Fong Yi tells Ji Lan that the dark remnant warned him it will return, so they must always remain ready and not let Elder Wu, who's just recovering, fight again. Ji Lan says she's heard similar rumors from both the military and the association. They track spiritual energy changes and claim the nation might not survive even 1 year after full revival, though most people refuse to believe it. Fong Yi wonders if his rebirth has altered the future. He remembers that in his past life, the world nearly ended within 3 years. He then comforts Ji Lan, saying Elder Wu will wake soon. He promises that if disaster returns, he'll stand with them and fight to change the ending. That night, Fong Yi meditates at home, feeling close to breaking through to 2-star spirit creation after fighting S-level threats. Yet he knows his power is still nowhere near enough for what's coming. He notices his potted white flower and apologizes for leaving it behind. He decides to take it out to train properly. He travels to the back mountain, sees the forest healing rapidly in this new era, and chooses a spot to plant the flower. He reminds it to absorb energy slowly. The flower takes root and immediately releases a massive green vortex that drains life from nearby trees, leaving the entire area dead within moments. Fong Yi stops it, lifts the glowing plant, and realizes its desolation power makes it at least A level. As he walks away, the forest falls completely silent. The animals have all fled. A fierce wolf howl echoes through the darkness. Under the blood-red moon, a pack of red-eyed wolves gathers on a cliff, their bodies beginning to change as they enter a dangerous evolution. Fong Yi faces a pack of monster wolves and spots the massive wolf king perched on the cliff. Its evolution is nearly complete. When it howls, its body finishes transforming and glows with green energy. Holding his flower, Fong Yi senses the powerful spiritual energy and realizes the wolf king is about to become A level. The pack quickly surrounds him, blocking all escape routes. He observes that the Wolf King has transformed its wood attribute into a poison attribute after absorbing dark energy. He remains calm, remarking it's only A level. He takes out the white flower, plants it in the ground, and decides to let it handle the wolves. The pack is large, and the city below is in danger. As the Wolf King charges at him, he tells the flower to begin. A massive green life-draining beam shoots into the sky, visible from far away by another pioneer team. That team witnesses the Wolf King's evolution. Their monitoring device shows contamination levels at 90, shocking them completely. Dong Su says the Wolf King's wood power is at least 3-star ghost axe, possibly spirit creation level, and his team is too small to engage it. When he sees the green beam and detects dark attribute, he realizes the Wolf King possesses 2 attributes, which is extremely rare. The reading jumps to 100, and he plans to call for backup. Then the ground trembles violently. He knows another anomaly has appeared. The reading skyrockets to 1000 as a massive wave of green desolation energy erupts from the mountain. Another member recognizes desolation power. The team panics, thinking of the giant vine disaster. Dong Su orders immediate retreat and evacuation of nearby civilians. But the desolation wave suddenly stops and pulls back into the mountain. The team watches in shock, uncertain if the danger has passed. Some pioneers far away debate whether they should still report the danger or venture up the mountain. On the mountaintop where Fang Yi planted his flower, thick green roots spread across the ground. Dozens of glowing white flowers grow from them, then burst with green energy and bloom into an enormous shining flower formation. The power transforms into a sea of white petals that fills the entire area. The Wolf King howls in fury as the soft petals become razor-sharp blades that slice through the air. Fang Yi stands calmly in the storm of petals and explains that his spirit blossoms continuously regenerate, absorbing and purifying enemies until nothing remains. Standing atop the giant roots, he mocks the Wolf King, asking how its pack can survive without his protection. The smaller wolves are trapped by flowering vines. Their life force is drained until only bones remain, which then crumble to dust. After consuming the pack, the flowers turn deep red. The Wolf King fires a powerful green blast, but the flower forms a shield and blocks it completely. Fang Yi says the desolation power of the flower has taken root in the mountain itself, drawing power from the earth in an endless cycle. The Wolf King understands it's doomed but still charges at the main flower. Fang Yi smiles and asks his flower what it will do. The giant flower grows even larger, catches the Wolf King mid-charge, and drains its life force as its green energy is consumed by desolation power. Fang Yi is surprised the flower can even absorb dark energy. The Wolf King is fully consumed. The flower spits out its clean skeleton. Fang Yi realizes the flowers can endlessly regenerate and turn any trapped enemy into bones. He names this power Endless Spirit Sea. The system confirms the technique has been written by the flower. The petals close and glow intensely. One petal brushes against Fang Yi's cheek. The flower surges with tremendous energy. Fang Yi sees it's about to evolve again. In a control room, alarms blare as an analyst reports an A-level anomaly with two different power sources appearing in one location. While the Wolf King evolves and produces dark power, a powerful desolation force also emerges. The superior asks for the location. A technician points to an area once handled by Su Qingying's team. The superior orders the destroyer squad to be dispatched immediately. Soon, a field call reports that the desolation wave has completely annihilated the A-level wolf pack, but the power has withdrawn back into the mountain, where numerous strange flower anomalies have appeared. The mountain now glows with a sea of flowers. The squad warns this unknown threat could be worse than the ghost vines, requesting immediate support. The superior agrees to send 2 elite teams. But Su Qingying intervenes, saying she believes the source is Fang Yi, since his home is in that area. She trusts he'll protect it. On the back mountain, flowers blanket the entire landscape as Fang Yi watches his white flower grow to enormous size. Just as he expected after it devoured the Wolf King, it evolves once more. The giant flower blooms. Its center glows brilliant gold. Fang Yi realizes it has gained firepower. The plant then shrinks back to hand size with deep red petals. A system notification announces it's now an A-level anomaly called the Desolate Fire Spirit Flower, possessing both desolation and fire attributes. It desires to consume spiritual energy and can be placed within the limitless dark domain to grow stronger. Fang Yi realizes he can nurture it within his dark domain and possibly allow it to gain dark power as well. As he unfolds his dark domain, storm clouds gather overhead. He senses another breakthrough approaching. He sits down to cultivate. A pillar of golden energy descends upon him. He breaks through to 2-star spirit creation, feeling his power become far more stable. Far away, a muscular man senses the brilliant light. He follows it and, upon witnessing traces of Fang Yi's past battle, vows to defeat this new 2-star fire pioneer to prove he's #1. Back at his training spot, Fang Yi senses someone nearby and calls out. The man responds by hurling a massive fireball, demanding to know if Fang Yi is a fire pioneer. Fang Yi calmly gathers dark energy and swallows the attack with his vortex, pleased that the hidden observer has finally revealed himself. He's already sensed the man watching him for some time and knows he's a wild pioneer who enjoys challenging others and has just reached the spirit creation realm. The muscular man steps out wreathed in flames. He feels Fang Yi's oppressive aura and introduces himself as Jiang Lu, then demands to know how his attack failed. Fang Yi remains silent. Jiang Lu laughs, repeats his name loudly, and charges forward engulfed in fire. Fong Yi raises 2 fingers and calmly invokes divine thunder. A massive blue lightning bolt crashes down from the sky and strikes Jiang Lu directly. Jiang Lu is shocked by the thunder power. He coughs up smoke and struggles to stand, his body scorched and crackling with residual electricity. He cannot understand how a fire user can wield thunder. Fong Yi stands over him as Jiang Lu drops to his knees, unable to move. Fong Yi grabs his hair and slams his head into the ground, shattering rock beneath. He coldly tells him to repeat his name. Jiang Lu stares in disbelief, unable to accept that he's lost so quickly after just reaching 1-star spirit creation and before even using his strongest technique. He remembers being praised for his rare firepower and believing others would bow to him. Fong Yi sends more lightning surging through his body, making him scream in agony. Jiang Lu continues wondering how Fong Yi possesses thunder power. Fong Yi looks down at him in disappointment, saying he expected more. He mocks the pride of young pioneers as he pins him down with crackling electricity. Jiang Lu finally realizes Fong Yi is 2-star spirit creation. Yet his pressure feels far greater, like a gap of several entire realms. Filled with terror and helplessness, he believes he's about to die there. Jiang Lu lies on the ground in sheer terror and begs Fong Yi not to kill him. Fong Yi looks at him coldly before deciding to let him go. He warns that a pioneer should never use power to bully others. He tells Jiang Lu to spend his strength dealing with new anomalies instead. Fong Yi then turns and walks away, leaving Jiang Lu confused, ashamed, and watching his back as he disappears. He wonders whether Fong Yi is a true genius or if he himself is simply too weak. Later, Jiang Lu returns to an apartment where 2 friends are waiting. One jokingly comments on his miserable appearance, only to be scolded by the other friend for fighting after being warned. The friend says Jiang Lu's temper will only bring disaster, especially before the full revival begins. Instead of arguing, Jiang Lu collapses onto the sofa in defeat. His friends are shocked and demand to know what happened. The red-haired friend reminds him he went to challenge the heavenly fire user. Jiang Lu quietly admits he lost in a single move. One friend grabs him and demands the truth. Jiang Lu finally breaks down, admitting he was crushed instantly. His friends cannot believe it. Jiang Lu regrets not retreating the moment he sensed danger. One of them says it makes no sense, since Jiang Lu is a rare genius who reached spirit creation so quickly. Jiang Lu recalls how his meteor flame was shattered by thunder. They speculate he must have fought the wrong person or someone not even considered a pioneer. Jiang Lu shouts that he's certain, calling the man a monster. He says the thunder nearly split his head apart. He believes the opponent possesses both fire and thunder, with thunder being far stronger, and is hiding power of at least 3-star spirit creation. His friends are left stunned. One of them thinks such a person would terrify all pioneers. Jiang Lu then quietly asks if he should become that man's apprentice, leaving the room in stunned silence. Meanwhile, Fong Yi meditates in his apartment, bathed in golden light. He feels the sign of breaking through to 2-star spirit creation slowly fading. He opens his glowing eyes and realizes the issue isn't his own strength, but the unstable spiritual energy in the environment preventing his complete breakthrough. He recalls the secret monitoring and rumors of an approaching catastrophe. He senses something dreadful is coming. Looking outside, he sees a massive electric storm forming above the city. He understands the full spiritual energy revival has begun early in this area. He tries to contact Ji Lan, but the call fails. This makes him fear the military has gone silent. Moments later, Su Qingying calls through heavy static, sounding panicked and asking for help. Fong Yi asks if monsters have appeared. At that exact moment, a bat-like monster slams into his window. Su Qingying confirms the danger is real and says she's in the city. The creature smashes through the glass and attacks Fong Yi. He calmly forms a blue lightning blade and hurls it, killing the monster in a single strike. Lin Yi rushes in to warn him about the bat monster, then freezes when she sees the shattered window and the corpse. Fong Yi explains that monsters appearing directly at their home in large numbers is extremely abnormal. While things seem controlled for now, this may be the beginning of a major disaster. He adds that a 2-star ghost axe monster would never normally attack so boldly inside the city. Anticipating fierce battles ahead, He tells Lin Yi to contact every pioneer she knows and gather them at their home. He steps onto the broken window ledge and tells her to guard their home while he goes out. Across the city, Su Qingying and her team stand on a rooftop as the raging storm disrupts their equipment. She warns that if a true disaster begins, they must act on their own. They stare at a massive vortex forming in the sky. She orders all units on high alert. Suddenly, they look up in horror as an enormous swarm of dark bat-like monsters pours out of the vortex. An urgent alert rings out that an invasion has begun. A red alert spreads across the city, warning of the worst rainstorm in 50 years and ordering everyone to stay indoors. Panic erupts as people stare at the sky in fear. Jiang Lu and his friend race through rain-soaked streets on motorcycles. His friend says the situation feels wrong and asks if they should leave. Jiang Lu remains silent. Suddenly, a bat-like monster wrapped in dark energy dives toward them. Jiang Lu angrily hurls a fireball while his friend wonders why such creatures would dare attack strong pioneers. The monster shrieks and emerges from the flames completely unharmed. Jiang Lu realizes it doesn't resist fire but instantly revives. Panic sets in as he decides they must return home immediately. Hours earlier at the Spiritual Energy Association, Su Qingying and her superior discuss contacting Fang Yi when an alarm reports an A-level anomaly moving toward the city center. Large numbers of bat monsters are gathering in the suburbs. Su Qingying insists on sending a team and going herself. Back in the present, the Destroyer Squad leader witnesses a colossal bat anomaly descending. He shouts into his communicator that the report is wrong and the threat is actually S-level. In a military district, swarms of bats assault a warship. Ji Lan fights fiercely with purple energy whips, cutting through wave after wave while watching their numbers continue to grow. A lightning user lands beside her and asks for orders. Ji Lan says their signals are jammed and other districts are likely facing the same crisis. Seeing the sky completely darken, she orders 2 squads to defend the restricted zone while she leads the rest to break through and reconnect with other forces. As they depart, she realizes the true target is the entire city. In the torrential rain, citizens flee in terror. At a bus stop, a live streamer films the storm for views. A bat monster suddenly attacks and devours the man beside her, plunging the street into screams and chaos. As the swarm floods the area, the streamer runs in panic. She hears people screaming that the bats are drinking blood. One creature catches her and attacks. She believes she's about to die. A brilliant blue energy blade suddenly cuts the bat down. Su Qingying lands behind her, cloaked in blue lightning with 2 teammates. She tells the streamer they'll take her to safety. As they escort her away, a teammate reports that the S-level bat anomalies are increasing and evolving. Su Qingying orders civilians to be moved to safety, deciding they'll regroup there later since the area has the densest swarm concentration. She stays behind alone to hold the line against the blood-red tide. High above, Fang Yi lands on a rooftop and confronts a giant multi-eyed bat anomaly. He observes that the swarm below has already evolved to near 3-star ghost axe level. He swings his golden fire sword and incinerates countless bats. But his eyes glow as he realizes they heal and multiply, rendering simple attacks ineffective. Seeing swarms over every crowded area and knowing it would take too long to find the association teams, he decides to clear the swarms himself. He opens his limitless dark domain, forming a dark green vortex that begins absorbing the swarm as nourishment for his spiritual flower. He thinks of Lin Yi and the pioneers guarding his home, hoping they can hold out for now. He knows the disaster may soon become impossible to survive. 10 minutes later, Su Qingying is still fighting on a rooftop as bats continue pouring in. Her power recovers too slowly. She worries about her teammates escorting civilians. A sudden scream draws her gaze upward. The swarm compresses into a massive cluster, merging into a single horrifying entity. She leaps up the side of a building, knowing the anomalies are growing stronger and nearing the spirit creation realm. Her scattered teams cannot stop this, especially as the bats begin attacking buildings. She fires blue blasts but is overwhelmed and knocked from the sky. As she falls, she sees a gigantic vortex of dark energy and lightning forming above. She realizes the swarm is giving birth to the king of anomalies.